Hello everyone, I'm Epic Charismatic, and today I'm reading another story from the Am I the A-Hole subreddit. This one says, Am I the a-hole for leaving a really nasty Airbnb review? Listen, I've had a pretty bad experience with Airbnb too, so I've been angry enough to want to leave a bad review. I haven't done it though, but I already almost can see where this person's coming from just from the title alone. Assuming that, their Airbnb really was that bad. But let's get into this. My husband and I stayed in an Airbnb while visiting my sister and her family. I made dinner for us last night, for everyone at the Airbnb. It was in an outdoor area and we grilled. It was 5 people total, and it was 4 adults and a 7-year-old. My husband gets a random call on his phone, and it's the Airbnb people, and they said no parties on their listing. This is a dinner with family. We have some words with the owner, including calling him a creeper. Okay, I would really wish we had a recording of this conversation so we really know what went on with that. But anyways, we call Airbnb and they really didn't handle it, and the owner tried charging us $500 for a party. This argument goes on and we left him a 1-star review and called him a spying creep, getting his listing taken off the site. We complained and filed fraud charges on the card and getting the whole amount of money back. It was a freaking process for sure, but because we filed a police report on creepy spying host. I hate the way this person is writing. The grammar right now is not it. Making me sound illiterate. Anyway. I get he might want to have cameras outside, but who actually watches a family eating and grilling? It's still an issue, and he hasn't had his account reinstated, and he sent us emails trying to explain his situation, and we are putting him out of income. I might be an a-hole because I told him maybe he could get a job at the CIA since he likes spying so much. And now he's threatening to sue us over this. Oh, you're so crazy for this. Oh my god. I'll say this. I have learned that it's normal for a lot of Airbnbs to have cameras because people are trying to protect their property. There's definitely people who are creepy out there, but for the most part, generally speaking, when people have Airbnbs, a lot will have a camera at their place just to be able to protect their property. And usually it'll say it on the Airbnb listing. It'll say oh, there's cameras in the common areas. And the common areas is typically, a living room, a kitchen, and an outdoor space, not an intimate area like a bathroom or a bedroom. So we don't know if this guy has cameras everywhere or if it's just in common areas. And we also don't know if he placed that information in the listing. If he said, hey, we have cameras in the common areas to make sure that you guys aren't getting out of control. So to just call him a creep, I wish we had this telephone call on recording. If we had a link to it, I would love to hear it. And this comment's crazy. I might be an a-hole because I told him maybe he could get a job at the CIA because he likes spies. That's funny. But no, people have property that they need to protect. So I get why people would have cameras at their Airbnb. I wouldn't call somebody a creeper for that alone. That alone. That being said, 4 adults and a 7-year-old and they're making dinner, but they're grilling. That's not a party. That's definitely not a party. And judging by the way they're talking about it, they probably aren't even getting rowdy in any way. Because it is 4 adults and a 7-year-old, but they're probably not getting rowdy in any way. This guy probably just saw a bunch of people around barbecuing and assumed that equals party. Because for a lot of people, just getting enough people around, and it's only 5 people, but getting enough people around and having a barbecue equals party automatically. Yeah, I don't think that would count as being a party. $500 is crazy to charge for this, considering it's just people having dinner and they're not really having a party. So based on this last sentence, I think just based on what you've told us here, you are the a-hole for that comment, for calling him a creep. But the thing is, I can't even necessarily say that because I don't know all the details. So actually, if I were to respond to this, I would put info, meaning I don't have enough info in this situation. Because knowing what I know about Airbnb, I'm inclined to think that this person's not a creep, but they're still wrong. So yeah, based on what I just based on some assumptions I have to make at this point. OP is right about the fact that they haven't had a party and they shouldn't have to pay $500, but they're an a-hole for calling the Airbnb person, whatever they're called, a creep, because he's watching over his property and making sure that you're not damaging it. Yeah, so in that sense, then the guy who has this Airbnb is an a-hole for charging $500 for this non-existent party. So they might both be a-holes. They might both be a-holes, because regardless, like, he might be worse. He might actually be a creeper. Then he would be 100% an a-hole, or he's like 50%. And this person is either, let me think. This person is either 50% a-hole or not an a-hole at all. Because if this guy's a creeper, then they're just totally in the right. If this guy's not a creeper, then they're half wrong. They're right about the fact that they shouldn't be charged $500, but they're wrong for calling him a creeper when he's just trying to protect his property. So, based on what I know now, my assumption is just everybody sucks here. Which is, if I scroll down, that's what this abbreviation stands for. Everyone sucks here. 5 people isn't a party. He needed to chill with that. But holy hell, you need to calm down. If he has a camera outside of the property, that's totally fine. But for all you know, the neighbors told him. Or it was a doorbell camera. You're taking this way too far. Edit, OP confirmed it was an outdoor camera. Agreed. The police report was a bit much. Yeah, like, it makes sense if you're gonna rent out your place to complete strangers who could totally damage your property, to have cameras in the common areas, not in areas where people would take off their clothes. You know what I mean? That's creep behavior. But to have it outside, like, that's fair. Come on. No, he's trying to scam OP out of $500. This is pretty reasonable. Yeah, if the police report is for the money that they're trying to take, then yeah, that is fair. But if it's for, like, oh, he's being a creep, like, I don't know. Okay, this one. This is a great example of why Airbnbs are such a bad idea. Who wants to pay to stay at a place where you'll be recorded and watched around the clock by an owner? That sounds more like a stint in prison than a weekend getaway. Not the a-hole. This guy sounds over the top intrusive, and his tacking on a surprise party fee for $500 to the bill is ludicrous. Dude, people are greedy. Like, I noticed that with Airbnb. Like, people are so greedy with Airbnb. They just realize, like, oh, like, I can make easy money just sitting there doing nothing, just letting people be here. And they take it way too far. And at the very least, this guy is, like, greedy for charging $500 for a non-party. You know they have cameras in pretty much every part of a hotel, except, of course, the rooms. It's 2023. Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. I don't think that part is wrong. I get it, because this person was like, who wants to be watched by, the owner? Yeah, we live in a surveillance state right now. You're not going anywhere without being on somebody's camera. Like, that's just something you have to accept. Yeah, everyone sucks here. Technically, having guests over is against the rules for almost every single Airbnb listing. I'm not sure if he stated it explicitly on the listing, but that standard is essentially expected. Similarly, almost every listing will say that there are security cameras in outdoor spaces. That's what I said. However, he also had no reason to make a big deal about it, from what you said. If he got a complaint, then he certainly does. The review is probably too harsh. He's not spying on you for looking at his outdoor security cameras. That's what security cameras are for. He wasn't watching you grilling and eating. He looked at the camera and saw 7 people when he rented to 2. None of this warranted the scene he made about it, nor the nuclear option you took. This could have been handled like adults, so you're all a-holes, respectfully. I've booked multiple Airbnbs with no rule against having visitors. There's a good size subsection of Airbnb guests where the goal is to stay in a city where family live and then host them at the Airbnb. That's a normal usage. Like, we live in a tiny apartment. Our in-laws book an Airbnb in town and then host us. As long as we don't stay overnight, then that's normal. Let me see if I understand what this person's saying. No rule against having visitors. Yeah, I don't think having visitors is ever a thing that Airbnb is known for being like, no, you can't do that. I think, like, that's more of a hotel thing. And even hotels, usually they'll have specific rules when they say that you can't have visitors. They'll be like, you can have visitors between these hours. You can only have this many visitors if you're in a hotel room with this much space, etc., etc. I don't think Airbnb is like, you can't have guests. I could see them being like, you can't have parties, obviously. But yeah. Our in-laws book an Airbnb in town and then host us. Oh, I see what this person's saying. Yeah. I mean, regardless of the rules, it's clear that OP wasn't having a party. So, like, the Airbnb guy was wrong for that, at least. Oh, God. Airbnb are a waste and take housing opportunities in neighborhoods. They used to be a novelty when they were a cheap alternative to hotels, but now it's fees for every single thing. Dude, that is so true. Like, Airbnb was supposed to be cheaper than hotels. Now hotels are cheaper than Airbnbs, if not the same cost. Meanwhile, hotels are, like, more fancy and more fun to be at and, like, more enjoyable to be at. It makes no sense. Yeah, this comment's boring. Sorry. Okay, not the a-hole. He effectively tried to steal money from you. What you describe as a meal with family, not a party. One of the problems with Airbnb and the others is that the people you're dealing with have zero sense of customer-oriented mindset or of market economics. They're going to do what seems best for themselves in the moment rather than of thinking of the bigger picture and how their actions today can hurt their business tomorrow. My wife and I have done basically what you described, and we made sure to tell the host what we planned before actually reserving the property. That way, if they say no, then we go elsewhere, and if they say yes, there's a paper trail if they try to backtrack. Maybe try that in the future? Yeah, these people, they're not business people, you know? They're just a regular people trying to make some extra money by doing this freelancing type of thing. So that makes sense. Yeah, let's see. Of course. I'll get downvoted to hell, but I do not care. You're not the a-hole. Most Airbnb hosts are lazy grifters who destroy communities. They have single-handedly destroyed the long-term rental market on Maui and made the cost of living insane. In almost every conceivable situation, the Airbnb host is the a-hole. I'm sorry. I listen. I stand by what I said earlier. Best case scenario, OP is not the a-hole at all, and the Airbnb guy is a total a-hole. Or OP is like at least 50% an a-hole, and the Airbnb guy is also 50% an a-hole. Like, they're both a-holes, but not that much. You get what I'm saying? I stand by that. I don't think any of these comments are really going to change my final opinion on that. But I will say these people are definitely getting biased against the Airbnb host because of the fact that Airbnbs really do suck. This housing crisis we're in is really bad. It's a very bad situation, and Airbnb just made it so much worse. So I get this comment. I guess I get this last sentence up. In almost every conceivable situation, the Airbnb host is the a-hole. I feel that. Because it sucks. It sucks that something as necessary as housing is treated as the luxury that it's not, you know? Like, even me, like, at least half of my paycheck goes to rent, and it's like, now I gotta sit here and figure out ways to entertain myself, because I can't be going out doing a bunch of things all the time and spending that money. Like, I can't be spending money every single weekend, you know what I mean? Beyond regular groceries and stuff like that. So it's like, I get it, like, it sucks. It does suck. Dude, like, how is just, like, a roof over your head, like, basically just a place where you're supposed to sleep, the thing that's costing you the most money, your biggest expense? How does that make any sense? Like, shouldn't my big expenses be, like, the things that I'm actually doing? You know what I mean? It just sucks. It sucks, and it's not even like you can get out of that cost. You know what I mean? It's shelter. Like, it's a necessity. It really sucks. He sent us emails trying to explain his situation, and we were putting him out of income. Oh dear God, I'm crying. Not the a-hole. Yeah, everyone sucks here. He's overreacting to a small dinner gathering, calling it a party, and you for an over-the-top police report. I get disputing the $500 party charged, but to make a fraud claim and get everything refunded is a dick move when you stayed there and received the service you agreed to pay for. So they should just eat the $500 for having another family over for dinner. The fraud claim was the only way to get the $500 refunded, and that likely required a police report. They didn't agree to pay an extra $500. Disputing the whole stay is messed up. Yeah, disputing the whole stay is definitely messed up. Yeah. As far as I could tell, everyone sucks here. That's what I would say. So this person said, not the a-hole. It wasn't a party. I mean, he was recording a minor, so I don't even think the police report was too much. Sounds like he wanted to scam you for the fee, and when you didn't cave to avoid the headache, it backfired on him. Sounds like he didn't like the find out portion. Dude, F around, find out. You guys seen that TikTok where the guy's like, so you see here, and he's like looking at this graph, and he's like connecting the y-axis to the x-axis, going to that point. He's like, the more you F around, the more you're gonna find out. I love it. That linear relationship between the two. He was recording a minor. You're allowed to have a camera that records the outside of your property. You're allowed to do that, dude. Like, this, nah, you're not wrong for that. See, and this person's even saying it. You realize that having a camera outside on a property is totally legal, right? Minor or not. Do you think when you enter a hotel with a child, that kid's not on camera? Yeah, like I said earlier, we live in a surveillance state. Everyone's getting their asses on camera. That's just the truth. Let's see if there's any more interesting comments. Otherwise, I'll probably just end. Yeah, no, you know what? Let's end it here. I like this. Not the a-hole. He wants to charge you $500 for feeding your family, and he got consequences for being a greedy jerk. Boo-hoo. I think you did the rest of the renting world a favor. Yes, I think at the end of the day, this guy is greedy because a lot of people, whether they're Airbnb hosts or they're just landlords for their own apartments or houses or whatever, they're so greedy right now. They probably have always been greedy, but like they're so greedy. They're beyond greedy. I really hope that we have some good laws coming up soon that helps for renters and even people trying to buy homes for, like just for their own selves instead of companies buying residential areas and renting it to us regular people, because people shouldn't be allowed to be greedy like this. Like, not with basic necessities, any extras, fine. Anything that's for fun, fine. But housing, it's so disgusting. So yeah, everyone sucks here. That's what I think about this story. And just reading the title, am I the a-hole for leaving a bad Airbnb review? I'm like, I already was leaning towards no. And I was right in the sense that the host sucks, but I think OP kind of sucks too. So yeah, if you guys think the same or if you think different, I would like to hear either opinion in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope to see you all in the next video. And I'm Epicharismatic. Peace.